Okay, it's time for Wild Bill for America. He has his black hat in the green room. We have the fake Daytona Beach background installed. We've got monitors 1 and 2 standing by and ready. All cameras are on, aimed, and in focus. We're ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're watching PJNet Live. It is now Saturday night, and it is about 9 o'clock in the evening here on the East Coast. And if you're watching live, that is when you do it, right here on PJNet Live. You might be watching this on YouTube later on. You might be watching this as it's posted on various social media platforms. Regardless of how and when you are watching this, we are grateful for your attendance and your audience, because Wild Bill is a special kind of guy, and I better make some plans to make some room for him. So let me just kind of, pull the monitors down where I can't find the hook. Where's the hook? There. Okay, come on down. There we go. And Wild Bill for America is standing by in our green room. And he's wearing a black hat tonight, and he has topics. He kind of forwards me the topics that we're going to talk about. And I don't want to steal his thunder, so I'll bring him right on board right about now. Welcome, Bill's Bites, Wild Bill for America here on PJNet Live in his black hat tonight. You're inside. Didn't your mom tell you not to wear a hat inside?
Is this any better?
Wear the hat. Okay. No, in front of your face, please. Okay.
No, we'll compromise.
Okay, Bill, top of the list, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has made a earth-shattering decision to do something that makes sense. The federal government doing something that makes sense. What are they up to?
The certain offices of the Department of Agriculture are going to get out of Washington, D.C. and move over to the Midwest to be closer to the farmers and the ranchers. And the D.C. bureaucrats are just raising Cain about that. They say it serves no public purpose. Well, yes, it does. They are getting closer to the food producers that they regulate. They want the farmers and the ranchers to have more say-so into how the industry is run. And, this is just another example of the Trump administration doing things that are, just common sense governance, getting close to the people so that they can have regular contact with them and get feedback and work together with the farmers and ranchers, which is something that our government has not done for many years. For probably the last 20 years, it has been the federal government versus ranchers and farmers of America. And that's just been a bad situation for everybody involved. So I am pleased that the Trump administration is offering an olive branch, and they're going to the people that they represent. What a brilliant move. What a Trump-style move to make it personal. And they can do nothing but good for our ranchers and farmers. So I'm very pleased with it.
I'm trying to think of anything agricultural that is done in Washington, D.C. And I'm coming up with a blank, although there is plenty of fertilizer.
Yeah, there's a lot of fertilizer, that's for sure. Maybe that's what they're going to. Maybe they're going to start importing BS to Washington, D.C. and pave the streets with it. I mean, it would work.
Yeah, I hope Trump, when he first took office, brought a lot of shovels to clear out some of that, because it's piling up. And that's where all that methane comes from that's killing our environment and causing global warming and such. So I think if we could cut out some of the manure in Washington, D.C., we could not talk about climate change anymore. Okay? But that's not all.
Not all.
Yeah.
You're not happy with that? Man, you're hard to please. All right, let me do something else here.
Okay, let's move on. Los Angeles County has told they're trying to spank Alabama now.
Well, yeah, Alabama is trying to be kind to unborn babies, and that's a criminal offense to the Democrat left. As you know, Alabama signed the new heartbeat bill that protects unborn children, and seriously, it virtually outlaws almost all abortions. And Los Angeles County, believe it or not, is ordering a travel ban to Alabama because of this new heartbeat bill. You know, I don't know what they're going to do. Are they actually telling people of Los Angeles they're not allowed to go visit Alabama? What are these Democrat dictators trying to pull here? I don't understand what a travel ban is.
I almost want to go to Los Angeles to buy an airplane ticket to Montgomery, Alabama or something. By the way, Birmingham, Alabama is a very blue area. Jefferson County traditionally has voted blue. This is a stunt, obviously. But think of Alabama as declaring itself a sanctuary state for unborn babies. How's that?
Oh, that's excellent. We need sanctuary states for unborn babies, sanctuary states for legal gun owners. We need sanctuary states for conservatives, actually.
hmm I haven't really brought you up to speed. We haven't spoken, off air lately, but I'm doing a lot of work centered around Alabama, and I'm gonna have to hit you up pretty soon because I think it's time for Wild Bill to get on his horse and ride with Coach Brasic over to Alabama and get some of these people out of the plantation they've moved on to, and we're gonna put hey here, just write this down. We want to put a black state representative as a Republican in the Alabama State House. How's that? You okay with that?
That's a great idea. The first 23 black men elected to Congress was right after the Civil War, and they were all Republicans because they wanted to join the party that freed the slaves from the Democrats. So you bet. Black man in Congress, that would be a great American tradition.
I will be
Black
hitting you
man
up.
who loves America in Congress. Got to throw that little caveat in there nowadays.
I'm gonna hit you up. We're gonna go.
All
You're,
right.
you're gonna be impressed. You're gonna be surprised. Wild Bill and Coach Prasic stirring up.
Well, my nephew-in-law Peter, who's doing Boland Family Studios now, come up with a new term. He calls us sanctified troublemakers, Christians stirring things up. So I'm ready to be a sanctified troublemaker. You bet.
Well, his name is appropriate because if you look at the recording in the Scripture of the New Testament, Peter he carried a sword. They didn't have 9 millimeters and Glocks back in those days, but he definitely carried a sword.
Yeah.
hmm
You think Jesus didn't know his followers were carrying swords? Of course he did. That was common for defense against robbers.
Yeah. Now you've been posting some stuff on Facebook, haven't you? On Peter. Was that
I
you or
couldn't hear
somebody else? You've been posting stuff from Boland on
Yeah.
Facebook, haven't you? And
Yeah, Peter has a new site, and today he posted one from the Ark exhibit, where a full-size replica of Noah's Ark, upholding the story of Genesis and its importance to the scriptures and to America, the nation under God.
in fact, I think earlier this week, one of your Coffee with Bill segments on YouTube was sort of announcing his launch, right? Was that him, or was
Yep,
that somebody
that's
else?
my nephew Peter, and he's a pit bull Christian. He knows his Bible, and he firmly believes in cutting it straight. People who twist the Bible will not like Peter Boland, but the children of God will love him. He brings the scriptures with no apology. So,
Bill,
yeah,
there's so much going on out there that the headwind that we're running against, but more and more I'm finding, conservative and Christian voices, pushing to the forefront. I like watching Candace Owens. I like watching Diamond and Silk, Wild Bill for America. We've got Casper Stockham. Dell did. I mean, we're putting. There are more and more, and this is more grassroots. Now, the Candace Owens and Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk at one time was grassroots, but they've gone way past that now. But we need more grassroots voices to rise up, and this is something that is not new to you. You've been calling for this in your, what is now Coffee with Bill, not only for weeks but months and even years.
well, I've been mouthing off on the internet since 2009, I think.
hmm
So 10 years that I have been doing my mission to call this country back to the God and country values upon which the USA was founded. Now, I was a Tea Party speaker all through the Obama years, and so I've seen the failures and I've seen the successes of the Tea Party, and Christian Americans and trying to make their voices heard. And
Speaking,
the mission is not over. Obviously, the Democrats are still bad guys, and they are just in an insane rage now that Donald Trump is president. It's finally come to a head. And on WorldNet Daily today, there's an excellent article by Scott Lively. I think Scott Lively may now be my favorite author just because of the way he expressed himself in this article.
tell me more about him before you tell me what he says. Tell me more about him. That name's not familiar to me.
That's all I know. Scott Lively wrote the article that impressed the living daylights out of me today, so you're going to get some quotes.
Let her rip.
All right. Scott says, this unique, world-shaping nation, our sweet land of liberty, faces an existential satanic threat in the Marxist uniparty campaign to destroy our president. Guy says a mouthful in just a few words there.
That's a run-on sentence, but it sounds
Trump
good.
like this. Listen to this, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
God chose this flawed but fearless bare-knuckle fighter, Donald J. Trump, to rescue America from the Clinton, Obama, Bush, Soros deep state takedown in 2016 and to grant its people a short reprieve.
That's well put, because he first of all opens up and he characterizes Trump as flawed but fearless.
And a bare-knuckle fighter.
Yeah, that's a fair characterization. You don't have to like the man.
Well, I do like the man, but
I do, yeah.
The fact that he's a fighter is definitely working in our favor. Donald Trump is the first president to fight back against the nasty liberals in the press. And that is refreshing. That is encouraging. And they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle it.
Well, yeah.
I got a bug in here.
I remember when Richard Nixon had such a terrible relationship with the press, but they took him to the cleaners. You don't take Trump to the cleaners like that. He didn't,
Yeah, Trump's the first one to fight back. American presidents have tried their best to be civil, kind, polite, and it has never returned. The media has been so disrespectful that when Trump took office, he gave them a taste of their own medicine, and they deserved it. And we are enjoying the show.
It is. He continues. Limited window. Well, he talks about the reprieve. This is a window.
Trump has given us, as Scott Lively puts it, a limited window of opportunity to rally behind the Constitution and Christianity as they were understood by our founding fathers.
And they had it right. Yeah, they had it right.
Trump has given us a short period of time for the American people to get it together, to finally stand up and with one voice say enough is enough against this Washington, D.C. madness. And if we continue to sit on our duffs and just let the president do it all, he's going to be gone someday. And we are not going to be in any better shape than we are right now. It's time for the American people to rise up and regain control of this country. The bad guys, the liberals, have taken over our schools, our education system. 85% of American children are being indoctrinated in the filthiest, most immoral, anti-God, anti-American propaganda imaginable. They totally own the Democrat Party. It's no longer the Democrat Party of our grandparents. The Democrat Party today is completely sold out to selling this nation down the road to turn it into a third world sludge pot so that they can just get more votes, turn it into a socialist nation like Venezuela. And now is the time, and they've also taken over the internet. The same liberals that have screwed up the education of our government have now seized control of the internet, and they're working to silence conservative Christian voices in America. We got to break this pattern of liberals taking over and poisoning every good thing in America. Liberalism is like cancer of the soul, and America is suffering from stage 4 liberalism. They need a cure.
It's insidious, and it has metastasized, as you've indicated. One of the, I have spoken on the topic on other shows, and one of the things that, as a strategist, I try to say, is it too early? You know, if you're holding a weapon and you want to shoot at something, you need it to get in range. Otherwise, you're just going to miss, and you're not going to shoot it. Then, if it's not too early, and I don't think it is, then you have to ask yourself the question: is it too late? And with all that you just said, is it too late? Can we turn the tables in this short reprieve with Donald Trump?
It doesn't matter. As Christian Americans, our mission does not change. We are here to present, first and foremost, the gospel of Jesus Christ, upon which the USA was founded, the scriptures upon which our laws were built. And whether it's too late or not is not for us to decide. We're in the middle of a fight, and we must fight with every ounce of our strength. You know, when you're in a battle and it seems like it's not going well, you don't know until the last shot is fired whether you're going to win or lose. So we have got to maintain a special forces type attitude of never, ever, ever give up. Keep hitting back.
Well, and I have to kind of correct myself, because we're not actually going to win the battle. God is. So when you consider the providence of God, and I've talked to people about the upsetting election, you know, how nobody expected Trump to win. And at some point, you get past all the analysis and all that was all wrong. And you have to consider that the hand of God Bill, I've prayed, God, withhold your judgment for a little while. That may be, you know, Lively may be right on track. Maybe he did. Maybe he's giving us a reprieve.
It wasn't the Russians who interfered with this election. It was God Almighty. And if the Democrats knew that, they'd be even madder than they are now. Well, let me finish up some quotes by Mr. Lively here. He says, "Never in the history of this nation has anything come close to the legal, political, and psychological blitzkrieg being waged against Donald Trump." And he says, if Trump goes down, America goes down. The window of reprieve will have closed, and this once exceptional nation will be cannibalized and assimilated into third world nothingness. Man, you know, for decades, Mark, we have said this election is the most important ever, and blah, 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 blah. You know,
Yeah.
America's at a crossroads. We're at the tipping point. You know, back in when George W. Bush was president, we were saying the same things. America's at the tipping point. If we don't win this election, but now with Donald Trump and the insane Democrats, I think we truly are at the tipping point. We are finally at the crossroads. America's going to go left into spiritual darkness, or we're going to turn right and get back into the God and country values that made this nation great in the first place. And man, I tell you,
Trump's tipping a few tables. You know, I got to say, it reminds me of another guy.
He needs to imitate Jesus in the temple with that whip. Mm-hmm. It's time for prosecutions. I did a speech in North Carolina a few years ago, and it was called Handcuff Politics. It's time for handcuffs in Washington, D.C. Enough of the silly congressional dog and pony show investigations where they go on television and pretend to care about an issue, but nothing ever gets done about it. These people are breaking the law. They are committing felonies. And you want to see America's confidence in her government restored, it's time to go to the grand jury, get indictments, and see government bureaucrats hauled off in handcuffs. I'm convinced that that is the only thing that is going to restore faith in the U.S. government. As long as Hillary Clinton's walking around free, there is no justice in America.
You're not
okay,
I'm
off my soapbox.
Well, no, you're not, because I'm going to say this. Short of handcuffing them, we're seeing some things that is your next point. Theresa May, when the Democrats, they have no respect for the rule of law. There's no procedural consensus. We had an investigation that they called for, put their man in charge of it, and when he didn't come up with the conclusion they wanted, they discredit it and want to start over and keep doing it again and again. Well, Britain did a similar thing, said, no, we're tired of this European Union stuff, and they held a vote. And the people voted to exit. Then what?
Then the liberal politicians who love the European Union basically refuse to respect the vote of the British people to leave the European Union. And they've been just having a mishmash for several years now since this vote, trying to make a Brexit deal. Well,
Well, they made a deal. They had a vote and said they're getting out.
yeah, we're
They
getting
didn't like
out.
that vote.
But no, the elitists who want to remain in the European Union kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, trying to find ways to sabotage it. And Prime Minister Theresa May was one of those elitists. And finally, she has failed to derail the Brexit. And today she announced her resignation in tears. And the British people should be rejoicing. They voted to leave the European Union to regain control of their nation and their borders. And today I see as a great victory for the Brexit people, the British patriots who want their country back. And Theresa May, good riddance. She has done them no favors. And and I was surprised to see the British police step up today and cheer her exits. I've known British police officers. London's probably my favorite city in the whole world. And the officers I know have been some of the finest police officers in the world. The British police had a great reputation, but over the last few years, they have just fallen apart. Their sissy government that refuses to stand up to Islam has police officers arresting British citizens if they post truthful statements about Islam on the internet. Last year, 3,600 British citizens were hauled out of their homes in handcuffs for criticizing Islam.
I was watching a video
I've
where
been so disgusted with the British police, but today they came out and said that Theresa May has been responsible for a lot of that. She has not only has she made policing impossible, she cut their resources so they could not do community policing, and has essentially sabotaged law enforcement in the UK. So hopefully we will now start seeing some good law enforcement in the UK, non-politically correct law enforcement.
it was a couple of weeks ago on one of your Coffee with Bill segments that you pretty well spanked the British police. Maybe they heard you.
They need it. They need it.
They needed a good spanking. I've
Yeah,
watched a video
they
where
have
people are hurling
essentially-
rocks, and the
They have
police are standing
essentially
there.
submitted to Islam, and British police are literally enforcing Sharia law on the British citizens. It's disgraceful. The Muslims are winning the war that Adolf Hitler lost in World War II. Islam is taking over the UK, and if the British people don't come out swinging pretty soon, they're going to lose their country.
Any talk on who might be the replacement for Theresa May?
Boris, what's his name? Can't remember Boris's last name, but he's been a popular politician for years there, and Boris might be the new prime minister. We shall see.
I guess anything will be a little better. So, and John Voight has some words about our president.
Yeah, John Voight, Emmy award-winning actor, made a video where he praised Trump as the greatest president since Lincoln. Now, for Hollywood to hear that, that is a slap in the face to all of the nasty, vile Hollywood snobs like Robert De Niro, Jane Fonda, Alyssa Milano, how many others? Almost all of them are on the anti-Trump bandwagon. And for John Voight, father of Angelina Jolie, to come out and say that takes courage. And I salute the man. Thank you.
I do too. And it, like I say, we are starting to see some conservative and Christian voices come to the forefront. I mean, the Democrats have dived so far to the left. I think it's appropriate and natural that they would. Clint Eastwood a week or two ago said he's getting out of there. He's had enough. And Ron Howard, they did that big thing about filming in Georgia. He says he's going to film there anyway. I don't know if that means he is on board, but Alice Cooper has found the Lord. I think we're seeing some significant voices. It's not just the duck commanders anymore. It's not just you. It's not just Wild Bill for America. I'm seeing more and more voices coming, and that's an encouragement to me. But I want to see the grassroots movement that we saw kind of from the Tea Party reemerge, and basically, like you said, like was said earlier, we've got this window of opportunity right now. It's not too late.
With Lloyd Marcus not too long ago about the need for a bigger, meaner Tea Party to take to the streets. Like the presidents, the Tea Party tried to be as polite as they possibly could, to always put forth their best behavior. And look what it got us. If we're going to take on the liberal left, we need to stand up and fight them however necessary, to go toe-to-toe, face-to-face with them at bad breath distance, and we should be invading their territory. We should be taking our new, bigger, meaner Tea Party groups right onto college campuses for our own style rallies. Sanctified troublemakers. Let's stir up some trouble.
The scene is not going to get any better. The landscape isn't going to get any better because several GOP leaders are coming forth with free speech defense initiatives. So I think that we've got some people behind us, and I think we need not, assume the fetal position and just shake in fear. It's time.
That's what a lot of conservatives are doing. And with the 2020 election coming up, that reminds me, Mark, it's time for us to start talking about boogeyman politics. And I'm going to give it to you in a nutshell because we don't have a lot of time left today. But the biggest problem with conservatives winning elections is that half of our people don't bother to come out and vote. Mm-hmm. Half of conservatives sit home on election day. And the number one reason that they do that is because they have been told that there are these super powerful, super rich entities that pull the strings behind the scenes, the Bilderbergs, the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones Society, whatever you want to call these boogeymen. And conservatives have been convinced that their vote doesn't count. I'm going to come out right now and say, shut up about the boogeyman politics. When election day rolls around, it's my vote versus Gloria Steinem's vote. And if I can bring more of my guys to the polls than she does, we win. And yes, it's just that simple. So either conservatives get off your duffs and vote, or just get out of the movement entirely. Don't even call yourselves a patriot. As you can tell, this is one of my hot button issues, and I'm going to start beating that drum now as the 2020 elections approach.
Well, Bill, I'm with you because I am doing some work trying to focus some energy in Alabama, okay? And I'm finding a lot of people are very outspoken, okay? But it's like, okay, today I was going to go to Montgomery, Alabama, drive all the way up there. But, then they start saying, well, it's a bad weekend, it's Memorial Day weekend, let's not, the excuses start. And I get it. If you're already at the beach, you can't be there. I'm okay with that. But they basically just don't want to do it. Let's defer it until a better weekend. Bill, if you wait for a better time to do it, you'll never do it. Okay? I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the keyboard, captains hiding behind on Facebook and Twitter. If you're serious about what you're saying, put your money where your mouth is. Well, and they start, and it's like, this is why we lose. Okay, if you're really committed to something. I learned this. I had a motorcycle. If you love something, you'll do anything for it. If that motorcycle needs something, you get it because you love it. If you love deer hunting, you'll do anything for it. If you love this country, I think it's time that you'll do anything for it. Fair enough?
You're giving me ideas for a video. Keep talking.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Bill, if you say it, people will hear it, and I'm
start saying it. If you love America, do something.
Right.
You're not going to save this country by being a keyboard warrior on your computer.
Yeah.
You're going to save this country by getting off your duff and coming out and facing down the bad guys.
Well, and my job, Bill, and I hope you're with me on this. We've got to give them things to do. Okay, you can't just say a coach can't say to his team, "Go out there and win the game." That's not coaching. Okay, coaching is saying, here's how we're going to win the game. Now I need you, get out there and execute the play. So between Wild Bill for America and Coach Prasick and Troy Towns and Casper Stockham and others that you're going to be hearing from very soon within the next few weeks, we're going to give you something to do. And if you don't want to do that, then shut up about it.
Yes.
Quit tweeting out that all your patriot. I'm all for patriotic tweets. I'm all for worship and praise in church. But that's what I call caged Christianity. Okay, we're all pretty bold in our cage where we've closed the door and the outside world is kind of insulated from us. It's time to take it to the streets, and I'm not calling for civil disorder. I'm calling for taking our country back. And between Wild Bill, Coach Prasick, Troy Towns, and others, that's exactly what we've got to do. Are you typing something?
Here. I'm writing down your ideas as you speak. Caged Christianity. That's going to be a video.
I'm going to send you a link to a video I did on caged Christianity, and hopefully that will help you focus your thoughts. Well, Billy, you're revved up, so keep going and do what you do. And I think our time's about up here today. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday, and I hope I have some news for you between now and then. And I hope I'm still trying to figure out a way to get down to Daytona for some more coffee with Bill. And by the way, I went to PayPal. Give us that address. How do you get there? I went to PayPal, and I put my money where my mouth is. You got $10 a month coming in, my man.
All right.
Whoa. And that's not much, is it? Anybody that
helps. Every little bit helps.
But when you put that together with the group, it helps. And I can't think of a better way. Maybe we'll just find Bill on Wild Bill for America on Facebook, and you'll find a link to his PayPal, because we can't depend. The game is rigged on YouTube in terms of monetization. The game is rigged on Twitter in terms of hashtaggery. The game is rigged just about everywhere, so we're going to have to make our own game here. So let's get behind the leadership that Wild Bill is providing, and let's put this man out there and doing it. And we're glad to have you here, Bill. Appreciate it, man.
Well, I sure appreciate the opportunity. Every Saturday night, we'll get together and we'll fire up the troops.
There you go. Thank you, Bill. Wild Bill for America. If you are not subscribed to his YouTube channel, you are not doing YouTube correctly. You need to find Wild Bill for America. He is a YouTube sensation, and what you've heard here, you can hear it more and more and more. And he's got it all the time, and he tells it in a way that keeps your interest. And they're short. He gets a little bit more time here. So subscribe to Wild Bill for America and come back and see us next Saturday about this time, right here on PJ Net Live.